All right, shalom, shalom, Israel. Everybody in the class, so shalom. Shalom. Shabbat shalom to the 12 tribes. Another Sabbath service, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Mashiach Malak Yahushua. Double honors to the elect elders in the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently wait for the second coming of Yahushua. A hearty shalom to you, mighty men of the Lord, who go out there on the highways and byways to do this work, risking your life and presenting your body as a living sacrifice to seal the hope of the elect. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there in the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying, they're fasting, they're studying, and being diligent and abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom to all of the aquas out there, holding it down in the households, married and unmarried, reverent to their husbands, keeping the commandments, being diligent, and moving in the spirit of our righteous foremothers. Shalom to all of the children and the elders and the ancient men, and this truth, laboring in word and in deed for Yahweh Bashem Yahushua.
God, Shabbat Shalom to everybody tuning in. All praise to the Most High for another Sabbath, another day of edifying, another day of repenting, another day of getting back on track as the world ends around us. And we know what's going on because we got these holy scriptures going to. As we always do, we're going to go to Acts chapter 18. Right? And Israel, make sure you're watching, right? Continually praying and noticing the prophecies and the signs that are happening before you. Right? And the only way you can do that is by reading. This is blessed to see that read it. Right? Because you're going to understand what's going on in these last days. Right?
Acts 18:4.
18:4.
Book of Acts, chapter 18, verse 4. And he reasoned in the synagogue every Sabbath and persuaded the Jews and the Greeks.
Right? So this is another Sabbath service to persuade Israel who knows that they're Israel to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and those who don't know that they're Israel to come back to serving our God and finding out the ways that please him and how to keep these commandments. That's the whole purpose of the Sabbath service. So you understand the law. Right? The only way you can do that is Philippians 4 and 13. Philippians 4 and 13.
I got it. This Philippians chapter 4 and 13. I can do all things through Hamashiach, which strengtheneth me.
Right, through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, we're able to break down these false doctrines and get the proper understanding. Right? We're not double-minded, we're not tossed to and fro. We're able to get the sound doctrine through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Right? So we're going to go to Deuteronomy, the 21st chapter. Right? Like the title says, the laws of life. Right? These are the laws of life. Get Baruch 4:1, Bible Show, before we go into that. Right, Baruch chapter 4 verse 1.
This Baruch chapter 4 and 1. This is the book of the commandments of God and the law that endureth forever.
Right?
All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die.
When you come into these law, statutes, and commandments, you're going to find life. Right? You're going to get the understanding. Right? That's how you know the Lord is dealing with you once you start to get the understanding, man. Before we came into this truth, you opened the Bible, you didn't know what was going on. Right? But now you get an understanding because you're keeping the commandments. Right? You get that fear of the Lord, and he's instilling more wisdom inside of you. Right? So we're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 21. Right?
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 21, verse 1. If one be found slain in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee to possess it, lying in the field, and it be not known who hath slain him, then thy elders and thy judges shall come forth, and they shall measure unto the cities which are round about him that is slain.
So these are laws that deal with murders, and nobody knows who murdered them at. A cold case, if you will, man. The so-called white man has a cold case. or he may have a different crime scene, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. The so-called white man will call it CSI, right? The crime scene investigation unit, the forensics unit, and they'll do all types of witchcraft, putting potions in the lab and trying to do all types of stuff. The Lord got it already figured out, right? He got it figured out. He got the Levites. He got the law on how to deal with unsolved murders. Read verse 2 again, Deuteronomy 21:2.
Then thy elders and thy judges shall come forth, and they shall measure unto the cities which are round about him that is
So
slain.
they're going to figure out what city this happened to that was the closest, right? Did this happen near Jerusalem, right? Did it happen near Lachish or Mount Hebron or Gad, right? What city did this happen to? And then you have to literally go out and measure how close it is to each city, right? Let's go on.
Verse 3, and it shall be that the city which is next unto the slain man, even the elders of that city shall take a heifer which have not been wrought with, and which have not drawn in the yoke.
See that? So now they may find out, let's say there was an unsolved murder and you found a dead body between Jerusalem and Mount Hebron. And let's say the city that it was closest to was Mount Hebron. So now they have to go to Mount Hebron, take a heifer that have not been what? Read that again, that have not been wrought with and have not drawn in the yoke. Meaning, well, what does that represent? The innocency, right? It represents the innocency and the purity of this murder that happened. Nobody knows who did it. There's no witnesses. There's no accounts. So you take a heifer that has not been drawn in with the yoke. You understand? No blemishes in it, has not been put to labor, has not been put to work. It's a pure, undefiled offering. You understand? To represent the undefiled innocency of the man who saw his blood being shed and he didn't do it. So the Lord has an offering to symbolize the innocency of man, which is a heifer drawn without a yoke and without blemish. Right? Let's read on.
Verse 4, and the elders of the city shall bring down the heifer unto a rough valley, which is neither aired nor sown, and shall strike off the heifer's neck there in the valley.
And this is another form of innocency, bringing them to a valley that's neither aired nor sown. It is yet to be defiled by man's labor and by man's hands. So like it king. So they'll take this heifer that represents innocency without being drawn with a yoke and being put to labor, and bring to a field that's innocent and undefiled by man. Right? Real quick precept. Let's go to I believe Matthew 27. And let's go to verse 20. I believe we want 23. Right? Let's go to Matthew chapter 27 and verse 23. I believe that's what I want.
24.
Yeah, let's read 24.
Book of Matthew, chapter
We
27.
can start at 23. Get the context.
Verse 23. And the governor said, why? What evil have ye done? But they cried out the more, saying, let him be crucified.
Yeah, these are your wicked Israelites, man. Even the so-called white man said, hey, Yahweh didn't do nothing wrong. They said, we don't care. We don't give a damn. Just kill him. I hate him. Why? What would he do? Just kill him. Right? Go on.
Verse 24. When Pilate saw that he could prevail nothing, but that rather a tumult was made, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this just person. See ye to it.
See that? Washing their hands in water. He said, hey, look, I didn't do this. The blood is off my hands. I am clean of the innocent blood of this man. And that's an ancient custom. Right? They tell you in the book of Job, though I wash my hands in innocency. Right? And snow water. Let's get that real quick in Job chapter 9 and 20. Right? So there's always a physical act to represent a man's innocency and a crime that he may not have been involved in. Right? And Pilate was a hypocrite because Pilate scourged Yahweh. But then he got the nerve to say, well, look, I'm clean of the innocent blood of this man.
Made a mockery of the Lord.
Right. Job 9 and 20.
Book of Job, chapter 9, verse 20. If I justify myself, mine own mouth shall condemn me. If I say I am perfect, it shall also prove me perverse.
Right?
Thou, Salakia, though I were perfect, yet would I not know my soul. I will despise my life.
Jump to 30.
Verse 30. If I wash myself with snow, water, and make my hands never so clean, yet shalt thou plunge me in the ditch, and my own clothes shall abhor me.
See that? So Job said the same thing. If I wash my hands in snow water, I'm still wicked. You can have all the different physical acts that represents your innocency and your life being without sin, but yet you're still wicked in the sight of the Most High. So what we're reading about in the law, again, are two physical actions to symbolize these men who may have found this body, right? And they might get charged with this murder. So if they don't go through this process step by step, they're going to be guilty in the eyes of the Lord. And they have to literally do this. They can say, well, look, we seen it. Jake, you see a dead body, oh man. Damn boys in the hood. You want to see those boys in the hood? You want to see a dead body. Then the kids kind of see a dead body. Then police come. They didn't keep the law. Did the so-called white man say, okay, look, it happened here. Okay, go get a heifer. They don't do that. CSI doesn't get a heifer, man. They pulling out the microscope and the damn UV light to see the blood marks and the footprints and the damn thumbprints. But they're not going into the law. They don't go and then pull a helicopter and then take it to the field. They're not keeping the law, statutes, commandments. So these crimes, yeah, they say that they're solved, but they're not solved according to the law, statutes, and commandments. You know? You had a question, King?
It was about what happened to the doctor.
You got it? Okay, come. So we can go back to Deuteronomy, the 21st chapter, and let's continue where we left off.
Verse 1. Deuteronomy chapter 21 and verse 5. And the priests, the sons of Levi, shall come near, for them the Lord thy God hath chosen to minister unto him, and to bless in the name of the Lord, and by their word shall every controversy and every stroke be tried.
Yeah, so the sons of Levi, they're the head, they're the ones in charge of teaching Israel the law. Right? They're the master teachers of the law. Right? Let's go to 2 Chronicles 19 and 5. Right? Let's go to 2 Chronicles 19 and 5. That's what the Lord said. By their word shall every controversy and stroke be tried, because they're going to judge the matter. Any controversy, any problem, you have to go to the Levites. Right? Let's go to 2 Chronicles 19 and 5.
2 Chronicles chapter 19, verse 5. And he set judges in the land throughout all the fenced cities of Judah, city by city, and said to the judges, take heed what ye do, for ye judge not for man, but for the Lord, who is with you in the judgment.
Yeah, that's a cut to Christians that you can't judge. It says the Lord is with us to judge you. Right, go on.
Verse 7. Wherefore now let the fear of the Lord be upon you. Take heed and do it. For there is no iniquity with the Lord our God, nor respect of persons, nor taking of gifts.
Yeah, you can't bribe the Lord. Go on.
Moreover, in Jerusalem did
Jehoshaphat
set of the Levites and of the priests and of the chief of the fathers of Israel for the judgment of the Lord and for controversies when they returned to Jerusalem.
So the Jehoshaphat knew the law. He didn't set up the children of Reuben or the children of Gad. He knew the law and set up the Levites for controversy. Go on.
And he charged them, saying, thus shall ye do in the fear of the Lord faithfully and with a perfect heart.
Go on.
And what cause soever shall come to you of your brethren that dwell in their cities between blood and blood, between law and commandment, statutes and judgments, ye shall even warn them that they trespass not against the Lord, and so wrath come upon you and upon your brethren. This do, and ye shall not trespass.
So if they go off against the judgment, the Lord is going to destroy them, huh? And all of their family and all of their brothers, huh? Let's go to one more. Let's go to 2 Chronicles 15:3. Right? 2 Chronicles 15:3. So the Levites are set up. They have a lot of responsibilities, man. They have about 1,000 offices that they have to do. And if you mess up in one, it's lights out. Every brother, I'm a Levite. I want to be a priest. And if you was in the ancient world, Jake, you don't even have the attention span to do the work of the Levites, man. You can't focus for 5 minutes. You sit there trying to do this, and you touch the Ark of the Covenant, you cover this, and you're not paying. Jake, you can't even pay attention. Your head in the clouds. You wouldn't make it in those days, man. You got to be dialed in to be a priest. Let's go to 2 Chronicles 15:3.
Book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 15, verse 3. Now, for a long season, Israel have been without the true God, as Salakia,
And without,
and putteth.
no, it says Slakia, 2 Chronicles 15:3.
It says, yeah, right here. It says, now, for a long season, Israel have been without the true God,
And without a teaching priest, and without law. You see that?
Yeah.
So who's the teaching priest? The Levites. So it's been a long season that Israel didn't have teaching priests. They didn't have men out there to go and teach the people the commandments. That's why Israel was going astray. That's where the Lord set up teaching priests in the last days. But not necessarily from the tribe of Levi, right? You can have brothers from the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, brothers from the tribe of Gad, brothers from the tribe of Zebulun, and that we went into that last week. We're a nation of kings and priests, and the spiritual sacrifices that we do are acceptable to the Lord. And these are the teaching priests in the last days, right? Brothers understand that? Council, let's go back to Deuteronomy. Oh, go ahead, King Salah.
Let's go to Nehemiah chapter 8, and we can start at verse 12. We can start at 13, right? So like the brother was saying, the priests are set up to instill the law, but also the priests are there to teach the people the law, right? So if, say, the brother Naquan got a yellow spot in his skin, the only way you're going to know how to go about ways to cleanse yourself, to know if you're clean or unclean, if the priests tell you what to do in the matters that come afterwards, right? Nehemiah chapter 8, and you can start at verse 13.
Book of Nehemiah, chapter 8, and verse 13. And on the second day were gathered together the chief of the fathers of all the people, the priests and the Levites, unto Ezra the scribe, even to understand the words of the Lord.
Right, so they gathered the Levites and the chiefs of all the heads of the tribes to understand the law. Right, like the brother said, if every man wants to be a Levite, but that's a heavy office right there, man. You gotta wash yourself once you go into the holies of the holy. You gotta understand when to put somebody out the midst of the congregation, right? All these things was instilled so you could understand the way to go about life perfectly. Yeah, your brothers go ahead and pull the seat up anyway.
All right, so let's continue. Back in Deuteronomy 21, Deuteronomy chapter 21. All right, come.
Deuteronomy chapter 21.
Deuteronomy 21:6.
And verse 6.
Read 5 again, King Salaki.
Verse 5. And the priests, the sons of Levi, shall come near, for them the Lord thy God hath chosen to minister unto him, and to bless in the name of the Lord, and by their word shall every controversy and every stroke be tried.
Right, go on.
And all the elders of that city that are next unto the slain man shall wash their hands over the heifer that is beheaded in the valley.
See that? They shall wash their hands, Slakia, over the heifer that is beheaded in the valley. We read that in Matthew 27. The exact same thing. Let's go to Psalms chapter 19 and verse 12. Right? We read that exact same thing. Let's go to Psalms chapter 19 and verse 12. About being cleansed, you wash your hands to cleanse you of that guilt and of that sin that may be charged to you. And we wash ourselves every day. That's why we wash ourselves with the word. You understand? To cleanse ourselves of the things that defile us as a people. Right? And they did it literally back then. That wasn't symbolic water they washed their hands with. That was literal water, but now we do it with spiritual water. Right? Psalms 19 and 12.
Psalms chapter 19, verse 12. Who can understand his errors? Cleanse thou me from secret faults.
Because this was an error that nobody understood. This was a murder that nobody knew who did it, man. There was a crime that it could have been bloody, man. Could have been a severe murder, man. Somebody head busting. You got a dude traveling from one city to another city. He see what's going on. He got to go back and report that to the Levites. He has to report that, man. Now, if you don't report that, that sin is on you, man. Right? Let's go to Luke chapter 10. So the Lord said, cleanse thou me from secret faults. Let's go to Luke chapter 10. Let's see this in the law. Right? Let's go to Luke, the 10th chapter and verse. Let's start at 20. Let's start at 20. Let's start at 30. Right? We're going to read this in the law. A lot of all of Yahweh's parables aren't just made up stories. They're rooted in the law. So let's read that.
Luke chapter 10 and verse 30. And Yahushua answered said, a certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among thieves, which stripped him of his raiment and wounded him and departed, leaving him half dead.
See that? So this man was traveling. He then they got beat to death. Now this is all parabolic. Symbolic for what? Who's the man traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho? By show of hands. Anybody know? Remember, this is a parable, so it's not literal. Is it Israelite? Is it the Israelite? Why do you say it's the Israelites?
He was from Jerusalem. He went from Jerusalem to Jericho.
And what does Jericho represent? The other nations that were scattered around. Jerusalem is our homeland. That's our homeland, right, Khan? So we went from Jerusalem to Jericho, meaning a place that you're not used to, right? Right? The house of your pilgrimage. It could be Babylon, you might be in England, you might be in France. That's you going from Jerusalem to Jericho, right? And the Lord said, we fell among thieves. We all know who the thieves are. The other nations, the heathen. They done stole your homeland, your nationality, your identity, your garment, right? They stole all of that and they wounded you through the curses, afflicting you. And now our people are half dead. Brother might say, I'm Israel, then he got an uncle. You're half dead, man. You might say you're a Christian, you believe in the Lord, but you believe in the white Jesus. That's half dead, man. That zeal, but not according to knowledge. Why? Because the nations, they jumped us, man. They all had this, they damn came in and kicked you and stripped you, man, and beat you. This is one of the first accounts of jumping somebody in the Bible, man. And who did it? The other nations, right? And it was Esau's idea. Let's jump him, man. He's not in his homeland. He's not protected by the Most High. That's Judah, the 5th chapter, right? But this is the point in the law, right? You may have a man sojourning, and he might end up being dead, right? Let's read on in Luke 10 and 31.
And by chance, there came down a certain priest that way. And when he saw him, he passed by on the other side.
So he's not keeping the law. He's a priest. You're not supposed to see your brother dead and half dead. Oh, just kind of step the damn AI over Tehran Lou, huh? Just kind of step over him. That's not my problem. Right? Yeah, my brother's half dead. And he's a priest. He's supposed to keep the law in Deuteronomy 21. You know? He's supposed to say, hey, look, I didn't destroy this man. He's supposed to help this man. You understand? And resurrect this man. Yeah, your priests represent, and this parable, they represent the leaders of our people. Right? Your pastors, your deacons, your bishops, your top men that you expect to help you, but they pass by another side. A lot of these Christians, these pastors, they know that we the Israelites. They go to seminary school, they get paid off, they take deals, they sell their soul, but they see you in the ghettos and the slums, and they pimping you or robbing you and pass by on the other side. Right? Let's get the next verse, King. 32.
Verse 32. And Likewise, a Levite, when he was at the place, came and looked on him and passed by on the other side.
Yeah, that's that pastor who's in that Bentley. He see you damn drunk out there on the ghettos. He said, look, I'm gonna go get this money though. I'm gonna pull up in his Benz, kind of peel off in the water on the curb, splash you in the face, and pass by on the other side, and go to his mansion while you out there trying to figure out what's going on. You see, they got a Bible up at the bus stop, scratching your head. The damn pastor pull up, look at you, then kind of peel off.
Or tell you show up on Sunday with money in your hand.
Yeah, sure. I'll break that thing down for you if you got a few dollars.
Right.
That's the priests and the Levites, man. Right? Go. Come, let's finish this real quick. So let's see who's going to actually keep the law. The men that you would expect to keep the law, they're not going to keep it. You would expect your bishop and your pastor and these leaders to uphold the law. They have a congregation. They got their certificate up there on the wall, graduated damn seminary school 1987. Right? So you would expect them to know the law and to help you in times of need, but they too busy molesting your son and lusting after your wife and pimping out your auntie. So who's going to keep the law? Let's read on in verse 33.
Verse 33. But a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion on him.
Yeah, so who are the Samaritans? And it's parable. Right? Quick precept. Let's go to 2 Chronicles 36 and 15. Would you expect in the ancient world a Samaritan to help a Jew? No. Right? Didn't Yahushua say the woman at the well to Yahushua, the Jews have no dealing with the Samaritans? Why askest thou me to draw water? So the Jews and Samaritans was enemies at that time. So that's the last person you would expect to help you. The Jews hated them. You know? So let's read that real quick.
Book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 36 and verse 15. And the Lord God of their fathers sent to them by his messengers, rising up betimes and sending, because he had compassion on his people.
Yeah, what?
Compassion on his people.
Right?
And on his dwelling place.
See that? The Lord had compassion on them. So who did he send? The prophets, the messengers. So in this same context, the Lord had compassion and he sent the Samaritan, the people that are hated, the people that are despised. So the Samaritan in this context, it represents the servants, the prophets. Right? Let's go to the book real quick, John 8:48. Right? Aren't the prophets hated amongst the people? The prophets, they stole the prophets, killed the prophets. That's the last person you would expect to help you out, man. The people that you hate. And they hate this even in these days, man. Our people are destroyed and these leaders aren't helping them out, but the Samaritans are going to help them out, man. The people that are the black Hebrew Israelites, the demonic racists, domestic terrorists, what else they call us? Violent thugs, hate groups. We're the people, we're the modern day Samaritans. Right? Let's read that in John 8 and 48.
Book of John, chapter 8, verse 48. Then answered the Jews and said unto him, say we not well that thou art a Samaritan and hast a devil?
See, all the Samaritans, the Jews thought that they were all devils. If you was a Samaritan, that's mockery right there. Right? That's mockery. They're not saying, thou art a Samaritan and thou hast a devil. This is Jake right there, man. Man, you like a Samaritan, you a nigga, man. You basically called him a nigga. You know? It said, hey, look, you tripping, man. You got devils on, like the Samaritans got devils on. So that's why the Jew, in this parable, the Lord uses an example of a Samaritan as somebody that's hated amongst the Jews to help out the Jews. I have one more precept on the Samaritan. Let's go to, I believe that's Luke 9 and 52. Right? St. Luke 9 and 52. 51.
Book of Luke, chapter 9
and 51.
51. And it came to pass, when the time was come that he should be received up, he steadfastly set his face to go to Jerusalem.
So Yahushua is about to go to Jerusalem, right? It's a straight shot journey if you go through Samaria. If you look it up on the map, it's a straight shot if you go through Samaria. Right, go on.
And sent messengers before his face. And they went and entered into a village of the Samaritans to make ready for
He
him.
went to the Samaritans and said, hey, look, Yahushua is coming. Can we have a place ready? Because he's about to come through. What did the Samaritans do? Go on.
And they did not receive him.
And they what?
They did not receive him.
Read.
Because his face was as though he would go to Jerusalem.
They said, oh, you going to deal with the Jews? Nah, man, you can't come through here. Go around. Move around. That's them. This is gang warfare, man. What you doing around our block? No, you can't come through our block, man. I don't care who it is, man. That's how the Samaritans and the Jews, no, you can't come through here, man. From Galilee to Jerusalem. Go on.
Verse 54.
And let's see how the Jews responded.
And when his disciples, James and John, saw this, they said, Lord, wilt thou that we command fire to come down from heaven and consume them, even as Elias did?
Hey, even James and John said, oh, it's on. Oh, yeah, they ain't receiving us, and let's call fire down from heaven, man, and kill them all, man. So they was this damn niggatry, man. You know, James and John want to call fire down from heaven, and they just the disciples. The Samaritans, and if Yahushua came through, they would have fought the Lord. They would have got on. Right? They would have jumped the Lord, man.
They tried to stone him.
Yeah, they tried to stone him, man. Even the woman said, hey, look, man, you a Jew, you're not dealing with us, man. So the Samaritans and the Jews was enemies. Right? We don't have to do an in-depth breakdown on Samaria, but in the ancient times, it was the chief capital of the northern kingdom. Right? And then when you read 2 Kings, the 17th chapter, oh, the brother got it.
Okay. 2 Kings 17, we can start at verse 9. Start at verse 9.
God.
17 and 9. I was looking for another one in First Chronicles. Second Chronicles.
Yeah, quick point, like the brother's about to go into, the northern kingdom, their chief city was Samaria, right? We can go through that in the precepts as well, right?
Book of 2 Kings, chapter 17, and verse 9. And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against the Lord their God. And they built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city.
Right, when you go into the history, I want to get it. It's in Second Chronicles, I'm gonna find it. But there was a king, he set up different nations inside Samaria. It's in this chapter?
23 on that.
23. What? You can keep going.
Right.
But they set up different nations among Samaria, and what they do, they set up idols, right? Different gods, and made the people who were in that land to worship, right? Keep going.
Keep on, verse 10. Good. And they set them up images and groves in every high hill. And
right. The same thing that that the Lord commanded is not to do in Deuteronomy 7. It's the exact same thing that Israel was doing there, right? That's what the book of Hosea is going into, man. Right, the northern kingdom being cut off, right, because of the idolatry, right, the wickedness that was going on, and that's why in Jeremiah it tells you don't be as your treacherous sister Israel, Judah, because we follow suit right after this. Right, go ahead, keep going, Ken.
And under every green tree, verse 11, and there they burned incense in all the high places, as did the heathen whom the Lord carried away before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke the Lord to anger.
Right, they did everything that provoked the Lord to anger, man. All the things that the heathens were doing before we got in that land, the same thing the northern kingdom continued doing, man. Why? Because they had wicked kings set up over top of them. Right, that goes into Sirach 10. As is the judge, so are the officers, man. You have a wicked king set up, what's he going to do? Command the children of Israel to do wicked. Right? Like how Jeroboam created his own high holy days and set up what they call them, the base men to be priests.
Right.
Right? That's the same thing that we was doing in Samaria. We started doing it in Judea, right? All throughout Israel. Right? And that's why Jeremiah was commanded us not to follow as our wicked sister Israel, man. That's why they was cut off for setting up groves, burning all these incense. And what they do, they scourge the prophets that rebuked them. Right? How you think they took Hosea getting on them? You think they was happy about it? They was smiling saying, come to my house and get on me? No, they tried to kill all the prophets. And they did kill all the prophets. Right, you can keep going, man.
Verse 12.
No, yeah, I got it.
For they serve idols, whereof the Lord hath said unto them, ye shall not do this thing. Yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, turn ye from your evil ways and keep my commandments and my statutes according to all the law which I commanded your fathers and which I sent to you by my servants, the prophets.
So the Lord even told you, I sent the prophets to heal you, right? The one who you least expected to heal you, man. The ones who was out on the corners, late nights, was being a whoremonger, and the Lord raised them up. He sent them out there to heal you, right? And that's the same thing that's going on today, man. And that's why they didn't deal with the Samaritans, man, because they was in idolatry so heavy, man. Not all in 2nd Esdras 13 and 40, all the northern kingdom didn't come over here to America. Some of them stayed back.
Right.
Right? That's how you got the book where it's talking about Cornelius in Acts 10, right? So on and so forth. Right, you can go ahead then.
Verse 14.
No, you can leave it.
Oh, you want to jump down?
Yeah, we can jump to verse 23.
Right.
Verse 23. Until the Lord remove Israel out of his sight.
So like you started 22. Like 20. Yeah, started 22.
Verse 22. For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam.
Right, they carried on all the wickedness that the king Jeroboam set up. They continued in though, kept that high holy day, and let the men who weren't priests sacrifice unto the Lord.
Right.
Which he did. They departed not from them until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants, the prophets. So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day.
So because they was hard-headed, they got carried away into captivity, man. That's just how it goes, man. You don't listen to your parents, what they do? They put that belt on your behind. So the Lord put that belt on their behind and made them captive to the Assyrians. Right? You got it.
I want to read the next verse too. You read 24?
Come.
Verse 24. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Cutha, and from Ava, and from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel, and they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof.
See that? So like the brother was going into, the king removed Israel and put heathen from his different provinces and put them in that land. And he got mixed with a lot of the Israelites in that land. You understand? And if you're looking up on the map, right? This is again a historical atlas of the Bible, a visual guide from ancient times to the New Testament, right? Which is a real good atlas for brothers to get into. At page 167, you can see the actual map, right? The red portion is the portion of the northern kingdom. And you have Samaria, and the purple portion is Judea and the southern kingdom, right? And Samaria was the chief capital of the northern kingdom. And before Samaria was the chief capital, the kings lived in Tirzah, right? Let's go one more quick precept on Samaria. Let's go to 1 Kings 16, I believe, 23. Right, let's go to 1 Kings. So now we're kind of getting into the history, man.
16:23.
1 Kings 16 and 23.
Book of 1 Kings, chapter 16 and verse 23. In the 31st year of Asa, king of Judah, began Omri to reign over Israel 12 years. 6 years reigned he in Tirzah.
Yeah, Tirzah is the original capital of the northern kingdom, right? That is the original capital. Go on.
And he bought the hill Samaria of Shemer for 2 talents of silver, and built on the hill, and called the name of the city which he built after the name of Shemer, owner of the hill Samaria.
So that's the origin of Samaria being the chief capital. It was bought from a man named Shemer, which in the Hebrew is like Shamar, which means watch, right? So Samaria means the mountain of watching. Like watchman in the Hebrew Shamaria, which means obviously watchman, right? So that's how Samaria came to be. We went into the history. This is before the Lord put the heathen in the land. So that's why this parable is so significant on how the Samaritans dealt with the Jews, right? And it all goes back to the law. They're going to keep the law, right? So let's go back to
Like I have one more.
Okay, come.
Can you go to Hosea chapter 4 and verse 2? Right, Hosea chapter 4 and verse 2. Right, because it wasn't a random act that the northern kingdom went into captivity, man. They had prophet after prophet after prophet after prophet come to them and try to correct their errors. Right? Hosea chapter 4 and verse 2.
Book of Hosea chapter 4 verse 2. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood toucheth blood.
Right?
Therefore shall the land mourn, and every one that dwelleth therein shall languish, with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven. Yea, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away.
Right?
Yet let no man strive nor reprove another.
Right, so all this wickedness was going on, man. That's the reason why Jonah had to go to Nineveh, man. Nineveh was like Baltimore City, man. Nineveh was Baltimore City before Baltimore City, man. Because of swearing, lying, adultery, blood touching blood, right? Same thing was going on in Samaria, right?
For thy people are as they that strive with the priests.
Our people so hard-headed, they like ones that strive with them who's supposed to get them in order, man. Right, the priest, like we were saying earlier, the priest is set up to keep things in order, to teach you the law, because you're not going to know what to do if you got, I don't know, if a baby's born, if a woman has a man-child, right, don't know how long they're going through the purification and cleaning, how long they're unclean. Right, the priest was the one to teach you that stuff, man. Right, so we're just as the ones that strove against the law. The law, really, because we strive against the law. In every ordinance, we strive against the law because the people who reprove us, we hate to get correction, man. Right, that's all I want to bring up.
God, I want to quickly finish that in Luke chapter 10.
God.
Right? Luke 10 and 33. So who's the Samaritan in this parable? And in this parable, the prophets. Right? The servants and prophets. Remember, it's a parable, right? An illustrated story, all right? To symbolize real events and prophecy and history, right? Luke 10 and 33.
Book of Luke, chapter 10, verse 33. But a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion on him.
And even in Matthew 10 and 5, Yahweh said, enter not into any of the Samaritans, man. Because it was off, man. It wasn't time for them to get the word, man. They had no dealing with them. He said, don't go. He said, don't go to the Gentiles and don't go to the Samaritans, man. They are off, man. And then when you read Acts, the first chapter, in the 8th verse, he said, okay, it's opened up to the Gentiles. It's like foreigners. Okay, now you can go deal with them. Right? So let's read on.
Verse 34. And went to him and bound up his wounds, pouring in oil and wine.
Pouring in what?
Oil and wine.
If you get a big severe laceration or cut in your arm, you go to the hospital and you say, okay, give me the oil and give me some wine. And he pour it in. Are you going to be okay with that? No, you're not going to be all right with that. You're like, what the hell, man? And we're going to get the top surgeon and he come in with a bottle of damn Matty Shevitz and a bottle of olive oil. You got a big cut. You got to get surgery. He said, I got this. He poured in half of the bottle of olive oil, then half of the bottle of Matty Shevitz. Is that what it's talking about? He poured in oil and wine. What is the oil and wine? By show of hands. How do you heal our people? With the word, man. The word is the oil and wine to bound up the wounds, man. That's the only cure for the cuts and the sores and to resurrect somebody from being half dead. The oil and the wine. All right, let's get one quick precept on the wine. Let's go to Song of Solomon 8 and 3. Right? 8 and 3. You can start at 1. So you have to give our people wine in this thing, man. That's going to heal up their wounds. Right?
The book of Psalms of Solomon, chapter 8 and verse 1. O thou were as my brother that sucked the breast of my mother.
Yeah, you want your brother to suck your mother's breast. Right? I know brother kind of looked at me and said, what the hell? The brother looked up, read it again.
Oh, that thou were as my brother that sucked the breast of my mother.
So look, I'm gonna tell you, Amos is my brother. You might see a brother in the world, right? You want him to be like your brother in his truth, man. You gotta read it with passion. Say, man, I wish you was like my brother, man. Right? Don't read the Bible like we always say, like an old nasty white man. You play the Bible narrative, the audio. Oh, that thou were as my brother. You're not gonna get it, man. You gotta read it with the spirit, man. Damn, I wish you was in this truth, man. You can't get it with my brothers. You eat, you drink your wine. It's a feast day. Then you got your friend in the world. He says, oh, that thou wert as my brother that sucked the breast of my mother. Meaning what? What's the breast of your mother? Milk, the wisdom, right? The knowledge, the understanding. So you want your brother to suck your mother's breast and be breastfed and be born again. Right? Go on.
Verse 2.
God.
Verse 2. I will lead thee and bring thee into my mother's house. Who would instruct me? I will cause thee to drink of spiced wine, of the juice of my pomegranate.
See that? He's going to bring him to his mother's house within his wisdom and cause him to drink spiced wine. That's not literal wine, meaning give him the knowledge. Give him the wisdom. Take care of him, man. Right? Only if he was in this truth, you know what you would do for your brother, man. My brother's in the truth, I'll break this down to him. I'll show him Deuteronomy 28. I'll link it up with Revelation 1, man. You always thinking about that too, man. Damn, I wish my parents was in the truth, man. Or my damn cousin you grew up with, man. I'll break it down like this, then I go to this verse, then I link it up with this, then I pull up the damn map, and I show them the chains and the yoke. That's all the spiced wine, man. So that's why the parable says what it says. The Samaritan and prophets heal our people with spiced wine or wine and oil. And that's going to slowly heal those wounds, man. You got a precept? Come. So that's the oil. One more precept for the oil. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 9 and 8. Right? Ecclesiastes 9 and 8. That's for the oil.
Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 9 and verse 8. Let thy garments be always white, and let thy head lack no ointment.
Keep your garment clean, your spirit clean, and always have the oil on your head, man. The oil is the understanding, right? Always let your head lack no ointment, man. Don't leave the house without putting oil on. Don't leave the house with a dingy, dirty garment on. And we're not talking about your literal garment, right? Go to Psalms 104 and 15. Always, and you got brothers, they have a whole congregation where they wear all white because they think that that's literal. No, it's not literal. You don't have to wear all white every day, brother. Put on some blue. Throw that green on, brother. It's okay to switch it up, huh? Physically, but don't switch it up spiritually. Right? Let's go to Psalms 104 and verse 15.
Book of Psalms, chapter 104, verse 15. And wine that maketh glad the heart of man, and oil to make his face to shine, and bread which strengtheneth man's heart.
Yeah, that's spiritual and physical, man. Oil make your face to shine. That's why the Lord said, wisdom maketh the man's face to shine. And Ecclesiastes 8 and 1 on down. So that oil is the knowledge and the understanding. You can see the brother shining in here, huh? You see a brother, he been studying, been really kind of glowing, man. He got a fire about him. He eating the bread. He's solid in the spirit. You understand? He drinking the wine. He's well taken care of, like our brothers in the parable of Luke chapter 10. We give them the oil and wine, and we close up the wounds, and we set him on his own peace, meaning we put him back in power and bring him back to the end, which is your mother's house.
God,
So we can go, you want to go back to Deuteronomy?
God.
Let's go back to Deuteronomy chapter 21. We all brought that out because it's part of the law, right? Deuteronomy chapter 21.
Yeah, verse 7.
See how the Spirit works? You in the law, you dealing with the Samaritans, then you in 2 Kings, right? Then you pull it up a map, then you go into a parable, then you go back to the law. It all starts in the law, huh? Right, we at Deuteronomy chapter 21. Let's read 6 again. Or 7.
I'm sorry, 6.
God.
Verse 6. And all the elders of that city that are next unto the slain man shall wash their hands over the heifer that is beheaded in the valley. Verse 7. And they shall answer and say, our hands have not shed this blood, neither have our eyes seen it.
See that? So you got 3 accounts of innocency. The heifer without yoke, the field not tilled, and the hands washed with water. And a confession to the Most High that we didn't do this. Right, go on.
Be merciful, O Lord, unto thy people Israel, whom thou hast redeemed, and lay not innocent blood unto thy people of Israel's charge, and the blood shall be forgiven them.
Yeah, because a heathen might have did it, huh? Might have been a wild Ishmaelite, huh? Or an Edomite who stabbed up your brother. So if they don't keep this law, this sin is going to be charged on Israel because it happened between the cities or the proximity of the cities, man. So they got to get this thing done or everybody might die in that city. And it's a plague out there, man. The Lord does that. When you read the book of 2 Samuel, the Lord had a pestilence. We're not going to go too deep into it, but the Lord had a plague in the land. Why? Because I believe Saul killed the sons of the Canaanites that was supposed to be hewers of wood and drawers of water. So they had to hang the 10 sons of Saul to reconcile the innocent blood being shed. Huh? That actually happened, man. So if you don't keep these laws perfectly, all hell might break loose in your land. You know, they actually had to bring this to kill the sons of Saul. Huh? You know, David had to do that. So we can read on.
Verse 9. Verse 9. So shalt thou put away the guilt of innocent blood from among you when thou shalt do that which is right in the sight of the Lord.
Right?
When thou goest forth to war against thy enemies, and the Lord thy God hath delivered them into thine hands, and thou hast taken them captive, and seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and hast a desire unto her, that thou wouldest have her to thy wife.
Yeah, this is the ancient world, right? You can't go take a woman captive now. Don't go to the suburbs. You buy a ticket to them, Jake, you want to go to Ethiopia and save her from the famine. You want to go to China and get out of Wuhan and bring her back to America. Now, this is the ancient world, man. Right? The Lord is with slavery. He said, if you beat your enemy down and put him in slavery, you might see a woman in the other nations. You might think it's beautiful. Right? We can go on.
Verse 13. And she,
read 12.
Slakia. Then, verse 12, then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails.
Yeah, like, you know, like Yaradon always says, she might not want to go. You might have killed her father, her brother in battle. She might have saw her son die, but it is what it is. Right? That's the law. Let's go to Numbers 31. Right? Numbers chapter 31. Right? Numbers chapter 31, and let's read verse 13. Let's get it in the actual account. Numbers 31 and 13.
Book of Numbers.
Chapter 31, we're going to read verse 13.
Numbers chapter 31 and verse 13. And Moses, Eleazar, the priest, and all the princes of the congregation went forth to meet them without the camp.
So they went to war against the Midianites. They took people captive. Moses and the priests went out to see what happened. Go on.
And Moses was wroth with the officers of the host, with the captains over thousands and captains over hundreds, which came from the battle.
And he was mad at them. We're going to tell you why Moses was mad at these men and the people they took captive.
And Moses said unto them, have ye saved all the women alive?
Why would you save all these women alive? Huh? You were supposed to kill them. Let's read on. Let's go on.
Behold.
Yeah, that don't sound like God loves everybody. Right? They say that's the God of the Old Testament. Right now, the God of the New Testament is nice. No, man, this is real, man. Why did you save all the women? You're supposed to kill them all. But not just all of them. It's a certain few you're supposed to kill. And it's a certain few you're supposed to save. Right, go on.
Verse 16. Behold, these caused the children of Israel through the counsel of Balaam to commit trespass against the Lord in the matter of Peor, and there was a plague among the congregation of the Lord.
Yeah, but also you read about him in Numbers 22, 23, and 24. He came up with a plan to cause the Israelites to fall by sending heathen women out there. Just like now, huh? Right? Jake, you fall, you're dealing with these heathen women. That's all crafty counsel. All these lewd magazines and all these damn websites. And that's for Jake, for the Israelite man to fall. That's for Esau to get his rocks off and for Jake to fall. Right? Go on.
Now, therefore, kill every male among the little ones.
Do what?
Kill every male among the little ones.
Those are little boys. Kill all the little boys. This doesn't sound like the Lord love everybody. This might be 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds. They probably crying, their loved ones died. And where's my dad? The Lord said, kill them. They're heathen. I don't love them. This is cutthroat, man. A lot of brothers don't like this chapter. Right? So kill all the males among the little ones. Go on.
And kill every woman that have known man by lying with them.
Yeah, they're defiled. Kill all the woman that has had sex with men. You can't use them. Right? The land is devoured by heathens. But what? Go on.
But all the women, children that have not known a man by lying with him, keep alive for yourself.
Do what?
Keep alive for yourself.
Yeah, not to play hopscotch with.
Keep
right?
alive for yourself.
Yeah, that's not to play board games with these women children. Right? This is the law in Deuteronomy Chapter 21 and 10. Kill all the women that dealt with men, but the women that have not dealt with men, and you can take them.
God, let's go to Judges chapter 21 and verse 11.
See, Amos, he going into it, man.
Yeah.
He getting into this thing, man.
Judges 21 and 11.
See, brothers like it. Brothers don't like these chapters. I don't want to read that chapter or that chapter. That offends me. You can't be offended at this. That's what the Lord said, man. The Lord said, kill all the women that dealt with man, but all the other women, the women children that didn't deal with man, keep them alive for yourself. These are the spoils of war, man. You know? You got brothers leaving the live stream. I don't like that, right? I want to go and watch damn ESPN. These brothers, they're getting on my nerves with the Bible, right? Salaki.
21 and 11. Now, started verse 6. Started verse 6.
Book of Judges, chapter 21, Salakia, 21 and verse 6. And the children of Israel repented them for Benjamin, their brother, and said, there is one tribe cut off from Israel this day.
Right, so if you know the story, it was a war between Benjamin and the other tribes. Right? So Benjamin was getting destroyed, man. It looked like Benjamin was about to be cut off.
Verse 7. How shall we do for wives for them that remain, seeing we have sworn by the Lord that we will not give them of our daughters to wives?
Right, so they was destroying everybody in Benjamin, man. If you notice, we're not gonna get into the story, but Benjamin did some wicked acts, man. They did a real wicked act. And
yeah, I'm gonna sum it up. Read Judges 19 through 21. The Benjamites how do we say that? They wanted to,
They partied all night.
they wanted to party on another man, right? They wanted to get the other man, but the man threw his concubine out there, and it says they abused her all night into the morning. So then the man cut up his woman. He cut her up into 12 pieces, mutilated her, and sent it through the 12 tribes. And Israel said, what the hell is this, man? What the hell is this madness, man? So they went to war with the Benjamites, like your brother said. This is bad, man. During the time of Judges, this is off, man. You do what you want to do during the time of Judges.
Verse 8, right? And they said, what one is there of the tribes of Israel that came not up to Mizpeh to the Lord?
Right? So it was a vow between all the tribes to not give your daughters unto the children of Benjamin. Right? It was a vow. So they were destroying so many Benjamites, the men, women, and children, and they're like, how they going to continue?
And behold, there came none of the camp from Jabesh Gilead.
So these people didn't go unto the Lord like it was commanded. Right? And there were these people from this certain land
to the assembly. Verse 9, for the people were numbered, and behold, there were none of the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead there. And the congregation sent thither 12,000 men of the valiantest, and commanded them, saying, go and smite the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead with the edge of the sword, with the women and the children.
Right, so they sent the valiant of the valiant men. Right? Who's a valiant man in Israel that we know of in this day and age?
Yeah.
Mike Tyson. We'll say Mike Tyson. They said 12,000 Mike Tysons. They said kill everybody in this land because they didn't come to the Lord. Right?
Verse 11. And this is the thing that ye shall do. Ye shall utterly destroy every male and every woman that have lain by man.
Right?
And they found among the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead 400 young virgins that had known no man by lying with any male, and they brought them unto the camp to Shiloh, which is in the land of Canaan.
So they found 400 virgins who have not been known to lay with man, and they brought them for the Benjamites. Right? That's the same thing that's going on. You go to war, when you destroy everybody, you know, you killing people, you got your testosterone running, you feeling good. You ain't never killed nobody, so you don't know how I feel. Right? You probably amped up, man. You probably enslaved 150 men.
Right.
Right? You see a beautiful woman sitting there, like I want her. She's mine. And what they do, they brought her there, they humbled her, made her pay her nails, shave her head. Right? Let me go back to Deuteronomy 21.
I want to jump, Slucky, I want to jump up and real quick in that same chapter, 18.
Verse 18.
Come. Real quick, 18 and 18 through 21. Judges chapter 21, verses 18 through 21, that same chapter. Right, so we're going to, I'm going to jump up and show you a little bit more of this thing that Amos was going into. I'm going to let you back.
Verse 18. Howbeit we may not give them wives of our daughters, for the children of Israel have sworn, saying, cursed be he that giveth a wife to Benjamin.
And give your wife to Benjamin if you want to. Go on. I mean, your daughter, right?
Yeah. Verse 19. Then they said, behold, there is a feast of the Lord in Shiloh yearly in a place which is on the north side of Bethel, on the east side of the highway that goeth up from Bethel to Shechem, and on the south of Lebona.
Yeah, they said, look, hey, we don't have enough wives. We got these 400, but that's not enough. What are we going to do with the rest? He said, I got a plan. At this feast, at this certain location, right, you got some women out there. Go on.
Therefore, they commanded the children of Benjamin, saying, go and lie in wait in the vineyard.
No, go to the fathers and do it in order.
Go and lie in wait in the vineyard.
Like a creep. Right? Like SVU. You see the person, the jogger on the trail, then you got the guy lying in wait in the bushes, man. Like a creep. Right? Go on.
And see, and behold, if the daughters of Shiloh come out to dance it dances.
Kind of watching them dance like a creep. Go out and watch them dance, right? Go on.
Then come ye out of the vineyard
And hop out the bushes
and catch you every man his wife.
and do what?
Catch you every man his wife of the daughters of Shiloh and go to the land of Benjamin.
Just jump out and take a wife and bring her home. They don't know you coming. They don't know what's going on. They just out there dancing. Hide in the bushes, jump out and take what you want. We need to keep Benjamin alive. That's how it works in this thing, huh? Let's go back to Deuteronomy Chapter 21.
That's why your brothers are here from Benjamin.
That's right. That's right. And that word catch, when you look it up, it means to seize in the Hebrew. When you seize, meaning you take hold suddenly and forcibly. So you kind of just grab them up and bring them back to the land of Benjamin. Because remember that Benjamin was almost destroyed. There was almost no more Benjamites in Israel at this time. So they had to keep sons alive, right? And they had to do this quick, man, or they was going to get wiped out. They bought 400 virgins, but it wasn't enough. So they said, well, lion, and this is from the Lord. The Lord said, lie in wait, and this is the plan. You're going to catch you your wife. Right?
Look, the sister on the line said, Benjamin, we still love to dance.
You see that?
Right, that dirty wine in spirit, man.
That jumping off of ladders, that jumping off the speaker system.
That's how you get taken in the vineyard, man. Y'all better stop that.
Right. Let's go back to Deuteronomy 21. We have verse 11. Deuteronomy 21 and 11.
And since among the captives a beautiful woman and has a desire unto her, that thou wouldest have her to thy wife,
Right?
then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails.
Yeah, why does she have to shave her head and pare her nails? I'll show her. Anybody know?
To humble her.
To humble her, what else?
Well, to forget.
Yeah, she gotta forget her past. It represents a new beginning. You gotta shave your head, pare her nails, and symbolic. Look, you're no longer a Midianite in my house. You're no longer a Cushite, man. Right? They do that when you're in the army, man. When you join the army, they make you shave your head, man. That's a psychological thing, man. When you're in prison and you get taken like in the damn FEMA camp, or when they did the Amalek, you gotta shave their head, man. It kind of humble them, man. They might even give you a number. They do that. They'll give you a number, shave your head. They'll them spray you with the water hose. You sitting up there. That hey, now you got a new life going on, man. Right? You got it.
Even with Pharaoh, with our ancestors, shaving their head.
That's right. That's right. Joseph had to do that, man. So this is what was going on back then. Your woman could just be a captive and she bringing her heathen gods. She bringing her terror from her idols. She said, I'm going to put my idol here. No, you're going to shave your head, man. Now she can say, no, I like my hair, but somebody got to shave her head, man. And pare her nails, right? Go on.
Verse 13. And she put the raiment of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in thine house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month. And after that, thou shalt go in unto her, and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife.
That's the order that you got. You can't just take a woman and just, you know, Esau do, man. Esau don't keep that, man. Other nations, right? There's actual accounts of the Edomites going to Haiti and them molesting the little girls with their assault rifles, man.
The Clintons.
You say what? Yeah, the Clintons, man. During that Clinton administration, they were sending Jake down into these different countries and just damn going off, man. Esau damn raping people, robbery, and murder, man. When Columbus and the conquistadors came over here, they did nothing but rape, robbery, and murder, man. You have, if you in the ancient world and you're going through the law, you have to go through these ordinances. You can't skip one, man. You have to do that, or you might get put to death. So this is serious, man. She got to change her garments. She might have worn like a, you know, damn whatever. She got to put a dress on and some fringes on. You give her a 4 month to get over it, right? Her father, her mother being dead. Give her time to herself. You might give her food. You might open up the little thing. Just a little, damn, open up a little slot, throw the plate of food in there. Right? She got to eat her food. And you guys, she got to move on. Right? Let's read on verse 14.
And it shall be, if thou have no delight in her, then thou shalt let her go whither she will. But
See that? You might say, damn, I don't know why I took her captive. She keeps speaking that language you don't like. She don't want to cook. She's sitting around, she's dirty. Right? You deal with you deal with a heathen so long, that heathen gonna come out. You shave her head and pair of nails all day, man. That heathen gonna come out, man. She might curse the name of your God. She might try to fight you. You might already have a wife. She might try to fight your wife. So you might say, hey, look, I can't deal with this no more. Huh? Well, the Lord said, you let her go. What if she would kind of open the door like, when you got a cat, you kind of open up the field, you drive her in the open field, say, go, get. I don't want to see you no more. And the dog look back, kind of say, go, get out of here, man. And you got to kind of keep it going, man. That's how you do with the heathen woman, man. You don't have to sit there and write a bill of divorce and do this and say, okay, you got your father and the witness. Kind of just open the door and say, get out of here. Right? You can't sell her for money, though. That's wicked, man. You can't say, I'm done with you. I'll sell you for 30 shekels of silver to the next brother. No, you humble her, man. You got to be merciful in this thing. You got to love compassion in this thing, too. So these are the laws that deal with women captive. This is different than having an Israelite wife. Right? You can't say, well, I took my woman captive and it's true. Right? And now I made my woman shave her head and pair her nails. That's off, man. That's wicked, man. Forget about your father and mother in the world for 1 month. And she lock her up in a room. You can't lock up your wife in a room for a 4 month, man. Because she came out of Christianity. And it's a spiritual warfare. Right? That's off.
So like it. And the purification process back then was way longer, man. They made you bathe in oil for a year, right? To get that filth and that stench and that disgusting whatever nation you come from up off of you, man. Right nowadays, man, Jake go to Africa, come back with a long neck,
This
purple person, man.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So these laws kept us from defiling ourselves with these other nations and following their customs, man. Because you bring somebody in too quick, right? You're gonna want to please your wife. Look at what happened to Samson, man. Look what happened to Samson. Samson is an example to the men, right? To not fall short because of these other nations. Look at Solomon. He wanted to please his wives. He set up groves and these other idols and sacrifice to their God, right? So you may love a woman of a strange nation, and she may make you go off, man. But this stops that, man. This stops that. You put her away. You know how embarrassing it is for a woman to shave her head? I was told that when a woman cuts her hair, she's going through something drastic, right? That's a drastic change right there. So you shave her head, you humble her, she's not going to want to deal with none of that stuff in her past. And she let that go, like the brother Adnan said.
And in 1 Corinthians 11, it says a woman's hair is her glory. So you kind of removing all her she might have thought that her other nation was up top. She might have thought, man, you got lucky on this one, man. Right? She, her glory of her pride of her other nation, all that got to be removed away, man. Right? Let's go real quick to Esther to add to what the brother's going into. Esther 2 and 12. This is how the king, like the brother said, this is how the king dealt with the women of the other nations. Esther 2 and 12. Right? So, the kings, they knew that they were royalty, man. They had a spirit of preeminence among them. Right? And self-respect. A lot of brothers, you need some self-respect, man. You just deal with any woman, man. Whatever move and blink, I want it. That's off, brother. Have some self-respect. You a king, man. You a priest.
Somebody said, what if she's bald already? Well,
Gotta get that acne hair growth, man.
But she still got to pair her nails, man.
Right.
What is that?
Yeah, you gotta pair them nails and shave that head, man. So kings in the ancient world, they dealt with things in order, man. A lot of you jakes, you see a woman down the street, drive through, you picking up your Big Mac, she got the headset on. You know what I'm saying? She say, look, can you give me some napkins? Can you write your number? And you try to deal with the woman at McDonald's, popping up at the drive-thru. That's off, man. Come on, brother. Have some self-respect, man. You don't have to deal with all of the women at the drive-thru, man. That's the only time I got. Right? But you got that precept? Oh, you got Slack Amos.
That's the 2:12.
You want to get that definition real quick? They got a lot.
There's a lot.
All right, let's go to Esther 2 and 12.
Book of Esther, chapter 2 and verse 12. Now, when every maid's turn was come to go into the king,
Ahasuerus.
Ahasuerus, after that, she had been 12 months, according to the manner of the women, for so were the days of their purifications accomplished, to wit 6 months with oil and myrrh, and 6 months with sweet odors, and with other things for the purifying of the women.
So you couldn't just roll up on a cake. You had to go an entire year of being physically purified, man. Cause see the king, man. I want to know this woman rolling up on a king. Wait a whole year, man. A lot of Jakes I'm married, it's been a week. Right? You don't even know, man. It's been a week, but now you're married. He said a whole year. And she had to physically purify herself with odors and myrrh and purifications and other things that pertain to the woman. That's how kings conducted themselves, man. You know? And he had to talk to the king. They had an Esther movie, man. And a king and a woman would come in and the king was kind of talking to him to see where their head was at, man. Because a lot of kings, you can't think that all of these kings in the ancient world was a bunch of fools, man. A lot of these kings was warriors. They went to war, right? They were strategic. They had intelligence. So you have to be on a certain level to have to be a king in the ancient world, man. So if the woman they was dealing with, the woman had to be on a certain level. So you got to have that mentality. You were a king in this thing, huh? Right? You should make sure that you're on a certain level and your woman is on a certain level, huh? You know?
So to pare her nails is to become bare, right? So they made her nails bare. Right? You ever cut too low on your nails?
Yeah.
That's painful right there, man.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, like you said, man.
Yeah, and one thing women love is their hair and nails, man. They love their hair and nails, man. Always got their nails done. Eve got the damn claws. They typing on the keyboard. They got the long hair. The other nation love them hair and nails too, man. Right? You got a question, King?
God, so literally have to pluck her nails out?
Cut them low. Cut them real low. That would be torture. That would be heathenistic and demonic.
God.
Right?
Hey, Slappy, one thing, the so-called the Jewish women, they actually shave their head and wear wigs.
Yeah, they do that.
Yeah, they shave their head.
Yeah, that's right. So let's go to Deuteronomy 21 and 15. Right? Deuteronomy 21 and 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 21 and verse 15.
So you got laws about captive women. You got laws about murder. There's nothing that brothers shouldn't know how to handle the matter, huh? You know?
If a man have two wives, one beloved and another hated, and they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated, and if the firstborn son be hers that was hated.
So real quick, it is lawful for a man to have two wives, right? Let's go to Exodus 21. Otherwise, it wouldn't be there. And we know that Yahweh Shah said what? Think not that I am what? Come to destroy the law or the prophets. Right? Yahweh Shah says the sacrifice and sacrificial laws are manifest through his life and the crucifixion, but you can't say the other laws are done away with. 21, we can start at 7.
That's what you got people saying in here.
What?
That the law of Moses is done away with.
And the comment board,
yeah.
Oh, they have to be taught all over again. That's okay. Right? That's all right, man. If the law of Moses is done away with, go ahead and just murder somebody right now. And be a homosexual. Then rape a woman. Right? And then stone somebody. And see what happens, man.
Did the Lord keep the Sabbath day? The law of Moses is done away with?
And did Yahweh Shah tell a woman that committed adultery, go and sin no more? Meaning don't commit adultery anymore. It's in the law. He said, keep the law, right? Do not commit adultery, huh? The Lord intensified the law. When you read Matthew the 5th chapter,
Doesn't Romans 3:31 say that we established the law?
Yeah, we established the law. And we can do that on, and I was shocked. He said, if you have a brother and you don't see eye to eye, you take what? 2 or 3 witnesses. Isn't that the law in Matthew 18? Didn't Yahushua wear fringes in Matthew 14:36? Then Revelation 1:13 said his head and his hairs, because he kept the law in Leviticus 19:27, had a beard on his face and hair on his head.
Did the Lord keep the Passover?
Didn't the Lord say, if you love me, keep my commandments? He said, keep my Father's commandments in John 15:10. How is the Lord teaching heresy? The Lord in Matthew, the 8th chapter, told them to keep the law of leprosy. Right? He healed them of leprosy. He said, go to the priest. That's the law. So you brothers, stop it, man. Because you want to eat bacon. That's all it comes down to. You either want to eat bacon or you want to be a homosexual, man. Yes, shrimp, crab, and lobster, man. Come. And we did a lot of paraphrasing for the sake of time, but you can kind of, go into those precepts on your own.
This is Psalms 119 and 160. The word is true from the beginning, and every one of thy righteous judgments endure forever. Where do you find the righteous judgments at?
Law.
And how long do they endure? Forever.
See that?
Yeah, these people get founded on it.
Come.
You got the precept.
Exodus 21:7.
Come.
Exodus chapter 21 and verse 7. And if a man sell his daughter to be a maidservant, she shall not go out as the manservants do.
Yeah, so in the ancient world, a man can sell his daughter, right? Like a dowry or a bride price. But she's going to be sold as a wife. That's why she shall not go out as the men servants do, right? Because the men have a year of release, right? Every 7th year, they're released unless they want to stay with their master. You can read that in the book of Deuteronomy and Exodus. We can go into that. But the point is, she's going to be sold as a wife, right? Go on.
Verse 8. If she please not her master, who have betrothed her to himself, then shall he let her be redeemed.
Right? He'll let her be redeemed. Right? Go on.
To sell her unto a strange nation, he shall have no power, seeing he hath dealt deceitfully with her.
So a man might buy a woman from another man as his wife, or it may be for his son, but she may not please him. So you have the law where you can put away your wife and be redeemed. The father might even he might want a refund. Right? They didn't really lie down together, but they're betrothed. He said, look, I want my money back, man. I'm talking to this, whatever the case may be. She can't do what I thought she could do. Hey, look, I want her to be redeemed. But he can't buy this woman. Let's say he buy this woman for 50 shekels of silver. He can't flip her and sell her like he flipping cars. You buy a car for $50, $500, and you flip it and sell it for $2,000. And you rip the guy off. Because you could have told him your car is worth $2,000. So a guy can purchase a daughter and then sell it to a strange nation to make more money off of her and not use her for a wife, like you said that you told the father you was going to use her for. That's being deceitful right there. Right? You got a precept?
Let's go to Judges chapter 14 and 1.
Can I finish this real quick? That's all right. So let's finish that real quick. Let's jump to let's read on 9 to 10.
Verse 9. And if he have betrothed her unto his son, he shall deal with her after the manner of daughters.
That becomes his daughter-in-law. That's where you get that terminology from. That's his daughter based off of the law of marriage. Right? He can't deal with the woman that he gave his son like a damn wife, man. No, now look, whatever you give your son, now that's your daughter too. Right? So any wife that's given to your son, that's your son. You treat her like your daughter right now. Right? Go on.
Verse 10. If he take him another wife.
If he do what?
If he take him another wife.
He might have a wife, then he might take another wife. I can Deuteronomy 21:15. If he take him another wife,
her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish.
So if you take another wife, and you already have a previous wife, your wife may have duties of marriage obligated to her. It may be written in the instruments of covenant. It may be orally told to your wife. You may say, okay, look, your first wife, your responsibilities and duties of marriage, are you going to do A, B, and C for the household? You're going to sew this for the garment, whatever the case may be. Now, if you take another wife, you can't diminish your first wife's duties because that's what makes her the wife. Right? So if you have a wife, you have to have enough responsibilities as a man for your wife to have different duties. We don't take away from the one of the fraud ones, huh? Right? So all of your wives that you have, they have to be able to provide for the household in some form of fashion. Right? You read about the Proverbs 31 where she did about 1,000 things. You might take another wife and take a load off of that wife. Right? But you can't diminish the duties of your wife. Right? If you decide to take another one. But the point is, you can take another one according to the law.
God. Can you read Deuteronomy 21 and 15 again, Dr. Shaw?
It gotta be lawful too, right? You can't just, be a nigga.
Everything done decently and in order.
Right. Deuteronomy.
So like, and everything is not expedient, man. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should, man.
Right.
You gotta understand, it's a time and a place for everything, man. If you're not in order, don't try to bring somebody else into your chaos. Right? That's very important, man.
Right.
Deuteronomy 21 and verse 15. If a man have two wives, one beloved and another hated, and they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated, and if the firstborn son be hers that was hated, then it shall be when he maketh his sons to inherit that which he hath, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn.
Right, so the firstborn has to get the inheritance. Go to Leviticus chapter 19 and 15, Dr. John. Right? Just because you hate your wife and she gave you your firstborn son, doesn't mean you give it to the more loved wife who bore you your fifth son.
Right.
Right? That's wicked, man. That's a wicked act, man.
Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 15. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment.
Read that one more time.
Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment.
Right, that's unrighteousness in judgment, man. Right, the law is the firstborn is separated to the Most High. He's going to get the inheritance as well.
Right.
Right, that's how it's supposed to go. Right, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children. Right.
Quick point. Jacob loved Rachel more than Leah, but he still gave the birthright initially to Reuben. He didn't say, okay, Joseph, you get it immediately. He could have said, hey, this is Rachel, this is Joseph, I'm going to give it to him anyway. No, initially it was given to Reuben until he went off. So even Jacob, he knew about that law.
So like in another example, Abraham left gifts for his other children.
Right.
Right? So a good man leaves an inheritance to his children. Right? He loved his children, right? I'm sure he did, but the seed line went to Isaac. Right? He got the birthright.
Though, thou shalt not respect the person of the poor.
No, you can go back to Deuteronomy.
Yeah, I want to get this quick precept in 1 Corinthians 7 and 2. Right? 1 Corinthians 7 and 2. Let's explain this. This is the number one verse that Christian lights, right? Israelite Christians use to say you can't have more than one wife. So we have to properly explain it. Right? Did Paul teach contrary to Christ? No, he was taught by the Lord himself. So if Yahweh taught the upholding of the law, then Paul taught the upholding of the law. Paul is not about to go against Hamashiach Yahweh and teach things contrary to the law. He said in Acts 24 and 14, he believes all things written in the law of Moses and in the prophets. So if he believes all things in the law, and the law says if a man take two wives, why would he write to the church when you can't do it? Right? We're going to show you. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 7 and 2.
1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 2. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his
Start at 1 and get the context.
Verse 1.
And it's like one quick point. This whole chapter 5, chapter 6, and chapter 7, you got to read it straight through. You read chapter 5, a man popped his own mother. Right? So then the Lord had to judge and say, get this guy out the church. And then in chapter 6, he told him about fornicators and idolaters, how they can't get the kingdom, and don't deal with prostitutes and fornications. And he's following up in the 7th chapter.
Salakia, everybody who's married should read this, man. This is very important. This is very pivotal to marriages, man. Because a lot of things can be avoided if you read this.
So let's read 1 Corinthians 7:1.
Now, concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman.
Yeah, that doesn't mean you can't have a wife. It just means a man's focus should focus on the Most High. He should be dialed in his truth. It's good if you don't have a wife, but it's not a sin if you take a wife. A man that don't have a wife, you'll find yourself with more time in the Word. If you have a wife, brothers that have wives, you know that you have to balance your time out a little bit more now. Huh? Right, go on.
Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband.
Right, let every man have his own wife. And I give you exact. That doesn't mean you only are obligated to one wife because we read the law. Like I use this example. If you might go to a job, they might say, "Do you have transportation?" Brothers ever heard that before? You have transportation. If you say that, or he might say you need to have your own car. Can you get the job if you have 2 cars? Can you? Can you get it if you got 3? What if you got 4 cars? Don't matter how many cars you got as long as you got a car. The point is you got to get to work. So to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife. You understand that? That doesn't mean just one wife. You might have 2. Shouldn't it even help you more to avoid fornication if you have 2 wives? You understand? So it's not just saying you're obligated to one wife. It just means have a wife in general. So you're not out here committing adultery with another man's wife. You're not dealing with prostitutes. You're not being a damn homosexual. You're not just being a sexual deviant. Just have your own wife, man. Damn. So you're not out here popping your mother, man. You burning in your lust. And you dealing with your mother like that dude did, man. You got brothers that I can handle it, man. I'm not the Apostle Paul. I'm like Yahweh Shah. And you're on the website. Damn, late at night, it's 3 in the morning, man. And you said what? Yeah, you got there, you a eunuch. But you sitting there burning at 2 in the morning, scrolling, man. On Lord knows what. I'm the Apostle Paul, sweating
With cramped fingers.
with cramped fingers. Like the brother say, I'm not even going to get into it. Like you lighting candles, lighting incense, dimming the lights. The brother said, put a smiley face on your hands. You know? Yeah. All right, brother. You know. Yeah, but hey, brother, just get your own wife, man. Just get your own wife so you're not going off. That's okay, brother, to have a wife, man. Right? So you're not out there burning. But the point is, Paul is not teaching that you're obligated to have one wife. Just have a wife in general so you're not committing fornication. Like you need a car just to get to work. You might have a Mazda and you might have a Honda. If you're hungry, you might want to eat an apple and you might want to eat an orange. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So let's finish that chapter on Deuteronomy 21. Yeah. Yeah. Deuteronomy chapter 21. We have damn put it in blank. Right? Deuteronomy 21 and verse 17.
But he shall acknowledge the son of the hated for the firstborn by giving him a double portion of all that he hath. For he is the beginning of his strength. The right of the firstborn is his.
See that? He gets all things. That's why Yahweh Shai gets all things. He's the firstborn, huh? You got other spirits that are made. You got Michael the Archangel, Raphael, Uriel, our spirits. But who's the top firstborn? Yahweh Shai. So the Heavenly Father is going to give Yahweh Shai all things. See that in Colossians 1 and 14 through like 18. All things are made by him and for him. And he is the head of all things, and by him all things consist. We're the firstborn. So we're going to get the portion. We're going to get the kingdom of heaven. Huh? Because the Lord said, Israel is my son, even my what? Firstborn. My firstborn in Exodus 4 and 22. So the Most High holds himself to the law. Because his word is above his name. Because the Most High can say, well, look, now I want to give it to these nations. No, he already said it. So his word is over anything. Regardless of what the Most High wants to do, he puts his word over everything. Right? So let's go to let's read on.
Verse 18. If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastened him will not hearken unto them.
Yeah, boy, we know brothers like that. This is what you call a nigga. He eating all of the food in the refrigerator. He play Xbox all day. The damn couch dirty. The stains everywhere. You give him a key to the house, he loses the key. He climbing up through the window at 4 in the morning. The music loud as hell. His pizza box is downstairs. He don't want to get a job. He don't want to go to work. He don't want to do job applications. Damn grinders and ashtrays everywhere. That's a stubborn and rebellious son. You ask him, do you ever think about doing a trade? Damn headset on. Yeah, mom, whatever. Yeah. I think about going to HVAC. Yeah, dad, whatever. Kick rocks. Get out. It's my space. This is my. You got sons like that, man. You got a point?
Salakia, you gotta nip that stuff in the bud, man.
Right.
You gotta, if you see bad traits early, go to Sirach chapter 30 and verse 1.
Bring it out.
Sirach 30 and 1. You gotta nip that in the bud early, man.
Right.
If you see any trait of niggerdom in your son or your daughter, cut it off early, man. We have too much of that in the world, man. We in this truth, man. We gotta raise them up the right way.
Book of Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 1. He that loveth his son causeth him off to feel the rod.
So if you truly love your son and you don't want your son to grow up to be a reprobate, you gotta cause him off to feel the rod. What does that mean? Tear his butt up.
Right.
Whoop his, man. Everybody in here that got whooped before, right? All right then. I done got whooped one time. I was so mad. I'm not gonna go into it. Look, probably than my dad, man. But that's what happens, man. You get whooped and you get mad, and you like, look, I ain't gonna do it again.
Right.
I ain't gonna do it again. But then you end up doing it again because folly is bound in the heart of a child. What you do again? You whoop their butt again, man. Not because we enjoy whooping them, but because we don't want to see the repercussions that come for them continuing in the same action. Man, if I hadn't got whoopings, I don't know what I would have been doing, man. I don't know what I would have been doing, but hey, I'm not thankful for it, but I am thankful for it. Y'all feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, quick point, like the brother said, it says folly is bound in the heart of the child, and it says the rod of correction shall drive it out, huh? You know, so I want to make that quick point.
Read verse 1 and 2 about the show.
That he may have joy of him in the end. Verse 2. He that chastiseth his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance.
Right, so once you chastise your son, you're going to have joy in him because you're going to know how to conduct himself as a young man or young woman in the Lord should. Right? And now we're going to see the repercussions of those children who don't get chastised or don't take the correction and chastisement in Deuteronomy 21.
I got a quick precept. I got it right here. It's Proverbs 13 and 24. He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasteneth him betimes. Right? And what if the Most High didn't put us in slavery and put us in this captivity and afflict us? We'd still be going off, man. If we never got chastised for idolatry, serving the other gods, we're the son of the Most High. And we use that example all the time, man. The Most High chasts us all day, man. We get chastised right now. Every day you're being chastised by the Lord because the Lord loves you, man. That's Hebrews the 12th chapter. You know?
This Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 6. It says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
That's plain right there.
Plain up on the table.
So let's go to Proverbs 21 and let's read 19.
Book of Proverbs chapter 21 verse 19. It is better to dwell.
21 and 19.
21.
Deuteronomy 21 and 19.
crazy.
Right.
Yeah, what?
Deuteronomy 21 and 19.
Verse 19.
So here's how you deal with a stubborn and rebellious son. That call of duty, weed smoking, don't get a job, can't fill out an application, eating the food at 4 in the morning, making all the noise, right? Using up all the hot water, right? Drinking all your dad's beer, stealing, right? Go on.
Then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him.
No, they'll ask him nicely.
Then shall his father and his mother lay hold on
They're
him.
gonna kind of grab him up in the middle of the night,
Come.
right? What you want to do? Let's just look. They say, look, we'll just give him another chance. No, we can't do it, man. Well, baby, I don't want to do it. And the father said, no. Hey, like, what was that? Jungle Fever, man. Then the Reverend had to damn kill Samuel Jackson, man. He went and he said, I gotta take you out your misery, man. He went and got a gun and he shot his son, man.
Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, Marvin Gaye, father shot him, man. We're not saying you gotta murder your son, but hey, you know, he didn't know what was going on, but he kind of knew what was going on. Kind of shot his son, man. Right? You can't do nothing with him, man. He said it's better, he basically said it's better if I kill you, man. Because you a crackhead, you smoke the TV, you doing that dance, you can't get right, you in the Taj Mahal, I gotta take you out, man. To save you, man. Send you to the spirit world. Right? So they're gonna lay hold on him, right? Let's read on.
And bring him out unto the elders of his city and unto the gate of his place.
And he might not want to go. He might be kind of strong, but they gotta grab him up. Right? Go on.
And they shall say unto the elders of his city, this our son is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard.
And you could be a spiritual glutton and drunkard, man. Right? You don't take no correction from the Most High. You still going in the world. You drinking the wine of the wicked and eating the fat and the food of philosophies, man. And you're a sluggard. You're slothful. You're rebellious, and you're a drunkard. You're gonna have the same punishment, which is death, man.
That's right.
Right. So let's go on.
Verse 21. And all the men of his city shall stone him with stones, that he die. So shalt thou put evil away from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear.
You know how many men that be dead in Baltimore City? Man, everybody under the age of 20, 24, 25 would be lights out, man. Even older men. You got 40-year-olds that live with their parents in the basement, stubborn and rebellious, man. They don't be dead. It's not just teenagers. It's any man in any age. A lot of brothers will be dead, man. And we might have been dead, man. You might have told your parents. Jake normally don't do stuff like that, right? Normally the nation do. They tell their mom what to do. But Jake, you might have slipped up one time, man. I know actual accounts of sons fighting their fathers in a fist fight, man. You know, that son's supposed to get put to death, man. Right? Some of you brothers, you might have said something to your folks, man. Under your breath, you might have whispered something. Stuck the middle finger behind their back. I know a count's father and the son walking, and the father kind of bump him with his shoulder, and the son kind of bump him back, man. Right? So let's go on. Verse 22. Let's read that through.
And if a man have committed a sin worthy of death, and he be to be put to death, and thou hang him on a tree.
Yeah, so not everybody got stoned. Certain men you got hung on a tree. Depends on whatever they wanted. They might have wanted to stone you and say, hey, look, man, let's just hang this man. Let's watch him go out slow.
His body shall not remain all night upon the tree, but thou shalt in any wise bury him that day. For he that is hanged is accursed of Yahweh, that thy land be not defiled, which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance.
Right? And we can go on another day and definitely how that pertains to Yahweh Shah. We know that pertains to Yahweh Shah. That's why Joseph of Arimathea begged the body from Pontius Pilate to bury Yahweh Shah before the sun went down, lest his body be defiled. So they laid him in a sepulchre that no man knew of. Huh? So that's Pontius. I mean, that's our forefathers keeping the law, right? And Yahweh Shai, he became that curse for us. Let's get that one precept, right? We don't want to just diminish the works of Yahweh Shai. Let's get that one verse, right? Let's come. Galatians 3 and 13. Let's get that in the law. Galatians chapter 3 and 13. How was the law done away with? It's the Lord keeping the law. Right? Galatians, the 3rd chapter, the 13th verse, man. So that's why it's important to read the New Testament, because you see that they're the exact same thing. Exact same laws, exact same spirit. There's no God of the New Testament. Then you got the God of the Apocrypha. You got the God of the Old Testament. That's off, man.
Book of Galatians, chapter 3 and verse 13. Yahushua hath redeemed us from the curse of the law, being made a curse for us. For it is written, cursed is everyone that hangeth on a tree.
So the Lord redeemed us from death. That's the curse of the law. The curse of the law is, hey, look, you might get hung on a tree. You might get stoned. Your blood might be shed. The Lord purchased your death with his own blood. So that's what it means. He redeemed you from the curse of the law, being made a curse for us, meaning being put to death instead of you being put to death. That's plain. Let's understand that? And with that, come your shot. We're going to close the lesson, take an intermission, and then proceed with the next lesson. Shalom.
Shalom.
All right.